Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we move on to day 2 of the York Dante Festival, day 2 of 3, and I've got 2 selections that I want to talk about in this video that I like in the first 2 races at York again. Starting off with the 5 furlong handicap, the Lindham York Handicap. The horse I like here is Zulu Chief, and there's quite a few different reasons, to be honest. Very interested or eye-catching jockey booking. Oisin Murphy booked to ride for Heathermain. Yeah, I think that's a real positive straight off. He has ridden that horse once before in a Group 2 over at Meydan. Now, that's kind of where this horse was being aimed last season in top-class handicaps, or at the beginning of the year even. Top-class handicaps, group races over at Meydan, and he wasn't good enough for those. But this isn't a group race, it's not a listed race, this is back to Handicap Company. And he's back to York. He actually ran at York back in August 2023 as a 2-year-old. Under Gina Mangan, and was a winner off a mark of 86. Now, the runner-up that day, Starlust, at the time was rated, I'm just having a look on the screen, 92. That horse is now rated 115 and has won a Grade 1 over at Delmar. The third placed horse, Room Service, was finishing third that day off a mark of 86. He's now rated 109. So those 2 horses, Starlust and Room Service, are like £15-20 higher now. Whereas Zulu Chief was rated 86 and actually gets to run here off 85. Made all the running that day, over 6 furlongs. Was unchallenged, won it really comfortably. It was probably a good race. The 2 horses in behind were very good anyway. And he's back to York. He's back off an actual £1 lower mark. He's got a top jockey on in Oisin Murphy. And drawn in 18 actually means he can blast out down this near side and keep going. Because it's only 5, not 6. He won his race over 6. He's won and generally been competing over 6. If he's able to jump out, being drawn in 18 should mean he gets a nice, easy... he doesn't get covered up by anything, doesn't get hampered by anything. He can stick to the right-hand side of the group, go forward, try and make all the running, and try and win the race, to be honest. He's still a colt as well. He's not been gelded. They still obviously believe that there's something in him to leave him as a colt. They feel that he's not quite achieved the level that he could, and maybe he could end up being a sire later down the line. But at this stage, he obviously hasn't achieved anywhere near good enough to be considered for that. But yeah, I just think that he could be very much overpriced here. That race at York was a very good effort. Oisin Murphy booked. We know he's obviously fit because he's been running elsewhere. He last ran 15 days ago and he ran okay at Ascot over 5 furlongs. When he lost second in the final strides. Yes, it was an easier race than this, but back at York could be the real turning point here. And if he runs to his best at York, or what he did, if he ran to what he did at York, he would actually win this quite comfortably. And at 12s, I'm happy to take a chance on him that he bounces back at York from stall 18 under Oisin Murphy. The second horse that I want to look at is in the 242, the second race on the day. And the horse I like here is Northern Express. Now what price is he currently? Let's just have a look. Currently available at 10-1. Now, him and Blue For You actually have similar form lines in the fact that they've taken on each other a couple of times, including in July of last year when Blue For You won the race, Northern Express was second. Blue For You is up 2 from that, Northern Express is up 1, so there shouldn't be a lot between them anyway. And you can see that although, despite that, there's a bit of a difference in price. Blue For You is significantly shorter price. Blue For You has beaten Northern Express before over a mile and beat him more comfortably. However, Blue For You is a bit inconsistent here. Doesn't always show up. I'm just going to read out his positions at York and you can understand what I say. So, York. Second, first, fifth, first, 14th, fourth, first, 13th, 9th. So he is pretty good at York, but there was definitely a few performances in there that were disappointing. Whereas Northern Express, I feel, is a little bit more consistent, although he's had significantly more runs here as well. 7th, 2nd, 10th, 1st, 6th, 1st, 2nd, 7th, 6th, 3rd, 1st, 5th, 2nd, 2nd, 2nd. You can see he's really consistent here. And off about these types of marks, I think obviously he's had a couple of runs. He's had fitness runs. He had the run at Thirsk, which got him ready for the Thirsk Cup. That didn't actually work. Was it the Thirsk Cup? Yes, it was. That actually didn't work. But coming back to York, where he clearly has a good bit of form, I expect him to run a nice race. And he's actually dropped, because of that, he's dropped £3 quite kindly back to this 103 mark. Last time he ran off 103, he actually finished 5th in the Buckingham Palace Stakes at Royal Ascot, behind the likes of English Oak and Billy Joe, Carry the One, Mostabshire, in front of the likes of Fresh and Roscollon and Summergand, and a really good race. I think he's coming here to try and win this race, and if he doesn't win this race, I imagine he'll end up back in the Buckingham Palace Stakes. But this mile trip, he finished 2nd in this race last year. They're back again. I like him at 10 to 1. I think he's going to give you a good run for your money. And he should be there or thereabouts, regardless of how the race unfolds. So they are my two for tomorrow. I'm keeping this video a little bit shorter than usual. The first one, as I've mentioned, is Zulu Chief, who I think is very well handicapped, back at York. Beat two horses that have both gone on to much bigger and better things since then. On his only start at York, he looks a decent price. And Northern Express should give you a good run for your money at York. Yes, he's off about the right mark. He doesn't have a lot to play with, but he's always consistent at York. And hopefully he finds that a lot of these are just not good enough or not fit enough, not ready to run big races at this time of year.